What's going on, good people? What's going on? Listen, Nigel Maestro here, Musician Lives Matter. Hey, listen, I got something very, very special for y'all. So, I've been telling y'all I got some special guests coming. We just going behind the music, man, and we are diving into just, what it's like to be, a musician lives matter, not just on the stage, but, off the scenes, off the stage, behind the scenes, in the studio, and, what all it takes, what all kind of we go through as far as, because a lot of people just know us, as, well, me particular, playing the keyboard or, occasionally at church leading praise and worship or producing, but, then they don't know all the backstory and what most importantly what led up to these different opportunities that we have and that we've done. So I thought, what great way to kick this whole session off with one of my mentors from abroad. I've been learning from him. I was going through his discography and didn't even realize some of the stuff that I've been listening to for years, um, was coming from this man right here. And so, none other than Mr. Mike Bereal
What's up?
himself. He's in the
What's
building.
up? What's up? How's everybody
What's
doing?
going on?
What's going down, folks?
Yeah, man. Mike DZ is in the building, y'all. So what's good, my
Yeah.
man? What's going on?
All is well, man. Just sweating in the studio, trying to get work done.
Yeah,
Staying busy during this quarantine season, man.
yeah,
I
dude.
didn't realize you was in Georgia, man.
Yeah, man. Georgia, man.
Wow.
Augusta, Georgia, man. Down here. So yeah,
Yeah,
when you in
man.
the ATL, man, let me know. We'll
I'll
it's only 2 hours away. We'll come up.
I'll be sure to do that, man. I need some good catfish when I come down there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, some of that good old Southern cooking and some macaroni and cheese.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Well,
Yeah, man.
yeah, man. I don't want to keep you long, man. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you doing this. For not just for me, but for us, the musician community. A
Yeah.
lot of us, like I said, we look up to you, and a lot of other musicians, and like I said, being from Georgia, we it's that West Coast flavor. We
Yeah.
automatic, especially in gospel music. There's two names that always come up. Mike Burrell and Jason White.
Yeah. Yeah,
He had that West Coast,
man.
feel, that vibe and flavor. But you just mentioned something. Can you just we'll start off with that. You said about staying busy in this
Yeah.
in this quarantine, in this COVID. So can you kind of tell us, how are you maintaining that, not traveling and doing stuff? How are you still working?
Well, first of all, let me just say, um, I was in Florida when COVID-19 really hit, and they really shut the world down. Basically, I was traveling in Florida with a group from here, as a matter of fact,
Mm-hmm.
and we was in the middle of our weekend engagements. We did the first night, which was a Friday night deal, and then the next morning, Saturday, we got news that Florida was shutting down, churches were shutting down, and what have
Right.
you. And so we spent the we spent the weekend in Florida, basically, and
Right.
so and got home in time enough to be shut down and everything. So that was interesting and
Man.
everything. But since we've been shut down, I've been working kind of crazy, with past things that I had to get finished with previous clients and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and also been blessed to receive work from new clients, from producing records, singles, to tracking instruments and what
Right.
have you. And so I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful, and
Yeah.
still being able to do church.
Right.
Going live with the church, and I play for two services, two churches actually,
Okay.
and so my Sundays is occupied with two services. They're both in L.A. Uh, Coincidentally on the pretty much on the same street, but on two different dynamics of the city. So
Oh, that's
so it
crazy.
doesn't take me long to get to one or the other. So that's cool. And
That's
so
crazy.
I'm just grateful to be working and to still do what I love to do in this time. I don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
don't take it for granted. And so, and my thing is, you don't have to boast. You don't have to brag on what you have going on. But you
Right.
just do what you do. Just do what
Right.
you do. And so,
Right.
and then help where you can. And so,
Yeah.
in this season, I've been actually been blessed to, help people. Lend money.
Hmm.
Uh, been blessed to give
Right.
during this time. And so, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. So God
Yeah.
is good, and I can't complain. I can't complain
Man,
at all.
that's so important,
And I'm
and
COVID free. COVID free, people.
that's hey,
You
that's
hear me?
that's a
I,
shout.
I, I walk out with my mask every day.
Yeah.
My mom tried to get on me because sometimes I take pictures, when I'm out and about. So
Yeah.
but she got on me one time and tried to tell me where my mask, and I deleted her comment, and I called. I said, "Don't be doing that, because that's gonna give everybody else a green light to think they can say whatever they want to me."
Right. That's funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, man. But at least you staying safe, man. That's
Oh
important,
yeah.
man. Like
Yes, sir.
especially this it's COVID, man. We really, to be honest, we really don't know what's going on and what to
Right.
expect from it. And
Right.
so,
Right.
you hear some people got it, some people don't. Some you hear
Yeah.
people dying, some
Yeah.
people getting, cured from it. So
Yeah.
it's just, but yeah, COVID free. That's a
Yeah.
place to shout right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And so
So
it's a blessing. Yes,
but
sir.
yeah, man, and good to hear that you, like you said, you with your financial success and your that you've been able to be a blessing to other
Yeah.
people, whether it's family
Mhm.
members or friends around you that have been affected. Because I know a lot of, even myself, because I was working part time at Guitar Center,
Uh.
and then when the whole thing, we had a scare, when it first happened, that one of our teachers was exposed to a student
Mhm.
that tested positive. And so
Uh.
and that's right
Yeah.
around that same time you were
Yeah.
saying, so they shut
Yeah.
everything down. We
Yeah.
all got not fired but laid off, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so, and then you just hear about all this. So
Yeah.
and I know the struggle for, like I said, a lot of musicians, because a lot of musicians, their money came from gigging,
Yeah.
whether it's from
Yeah.
church
Yeah.
or just on the road with different artists,
Yeah.
or they're an artist themselves and
Yeah.
they do, so it's good to, like you said, have those relationships that you already had,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then still pick up, new
Yeah.
work from being,
Exactly.
and so that just, I guess that leads me to my question. Can you kind of tell us where it all started? For Mike Bereal, like how'd you come from, you know, being born to start, when you first start, who influenced you with music? I'm assuming you grew up playing in church. So
Yeah.
from that
Yeah.
first instrument you played at 3, 4,
Yeah.
5 years old
Uh
to
huh.
now being
Yeah.
the Mike Bereal.
Well, let me go back. Let me go back and piggyback on what you said about my financial success.
Hmm.
Um, the truth of the matter is, I ain't rich. The truth of the matter, I'm not rich. However,
Oh man.
if COVID-19 quarantine has taught me anything, it's taught me this. It taught me how to put my money up. It
Mm.
really taught me how to put my money aside.
Speak about it, yo.
And you know, I was the type of guy that would go to the mall almost every week trying to see what was out, the newest shoe,
Hmm.
everything. Yeah, I like shoes. I like clothes. Who does it? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
However, since COVID-19, I haven't bought not one pair of shoes. I just wear what's in my closet. Put my money up, and as a believer in Jesus Christ, the Word of God teaches us to tithe, and
Yeah.
I tithe on everything that I get. I tithe on everything that I make. You know, if it's a royalty check, I'm tithing. If it's
Right.
$200, I'm tithing. If it's $50, I'm tithing. I'm tithing on everything,
Right.
and that has, because I've done that,
Mm.
the doors is just opening. The doors is just continue to open, and the blessings of God is just pouring out. And
Yeah.
so I'm grateful. But
Yeah.
so going back to the question at hand, where did it all start? Um, I guess you could say a young lad from Pasadena, California.
Okay.
Um, I was born into a family of musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my dad played the organ. My mom played the drum. She sang. My dad's brother, my uncle, who passed away, rest in peace, Uncle Matt. Um, he was the musical liaison, if you will,
Okay.
for the family. And so, growing up, I've always had the thing for the Hammond organ, the B3.
Right.
And every time I would go to like a musical or a church or wherever, I would ask to sit right in front wherever the organ was.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever I could see the organ, wherever I could see the Leslie, uh, I would want to sit there and watch people play the organ,
Right.
and that was my thing. And then before we even had an organ, uh, I would play like I was playing the organ on the coffee table. And so, long story short, my dad bought an organ one time. He before he did that, he took me to our church, our family church, and he sat me down, taught me how to play in my keys. I don't know, I was probably like 5 or 6,
Right.
early six, and then taught me how to the keys and play basic chords.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I just took it and ran with it. When he finally bought the organ for the house, I would be at the organ almost every day,
Right.
practicing. And then my cousins and a few of the friends in the city, they would come by, and we will all just sit and play the records, play the Hawkins, play the Milton Bronson, the Thomas Whitfield,
Right.
the Andre Crouch. We would play all of those records and
And this
try
is
to
at
pick it all
six,
out.
7, 8 years old.
6, 7, 8 years old. My first song that I played in church with the choir was "I Shall Wear a Crown," Thomas Whitfield,
Mm-hmm.
and then "Walking a Life" and so forth, so forth. And that's how, and then just being in church, learning how to play, learning the ropes in church. You
Right.
know, when I didn't get it right, I got booted off. My uncle kicked me off. My dad would kick me off.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't just kick me off. They would stop me, or at the end of service they would say, "Come here, let me teach you this."
Right.
You know, so this is how it goes. Oh,
Right.
okay, okay. He said next time use your ear. They tell you train your ear to use
Right.
your ear, and so that has helped me through my through the life of my musicianship, to use my ear. I would, when I got older, I would go to the music store and purchase books,
Yeah.
to learn the theory and what have you. So I really didn't have no formal training. So I would buy
Right.
books, chord books, and that's how I learned how to know what chord names were, and how to put it all together.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
And so, how I got into? Did you ask me how I got into the industry too?
Yeah. So like,
Okay.
so that so what you described, I think is pretty much, I would say, 95% of especially
Yeah.
us church musicians, that
Yeah.
road. So where did that transition come from, doing that, playing at your local church or family church, to possibly playing
Yeah.
for this singer,
Right.
or this,
Right. Right.
to, I guess, well, I guess it's a twofold question, because to us now, like Dorinda or the Clark sisters, or Kurt Carr and all them, I guess you would say industry famous. But if
Mm-hmm.
you rewind the time, like they
Yeah.
weren't,
Right.
they had to start somewhere too.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
like, did you
Exactly.
start with artists like that when they before they got famous, or were you did you start, you have an opportunity with, like, other artists? How did that process come about?
It transitioned in church, right? So
Hmm.
my grandfather's church at the time, Hillside Church of God in Christ. Um, yes, we're as I'm coaching. So what? Anyway, um, it's weird because I didn't just start traveling with artists and everything, because number one, my dad wouldn't let me.
Right.
I was still young and whatnot. But
Hmm.
we were associated with Bishop Charles Blake's at that time, jurisdiction number one. He was the jurisdictional prelate.
Hmm.
So we would go to musicals, we would go to convocations and all of
Hmm.
those events. And so people like Patrick Henderson, You would meet the Newell brothers, Jimmy
Yeah.
and Michael. You would see Judith McAllister. You would see all of these people. You would see Kurt Carr and everything. And so, being that we was affiliated with all the Kojic churches in the city,
Mm-hmm.
when I got older, they would, because I started playing in the convocations and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got 18, you know, of course I'm of age now. They would ask if I could come fill in at the church or come play at the church if somebody had to direct or whatever. So I would do that. And so uh, the person that actually got me in the industry, that I can say he actually did it, was James Newell, Jimmy Newell,
Mm-hmm.
uh, renowned bass player out of L.A.
Okay.
And he got me to play on a gig with Kurt Carr, and so Kurt Carr was actually my first artist I played for back in '95.
Okay.
And so we wasn't making that much,
Right.
only
Yeah.
about 150 a show.
Right.
And so that's how it all started. Jimmy Newell, his brother, they would get me in and come play with them and certain things, and then of course Jason would call
Right.
and what have you. And so a lot of that was my start to get in the industry
Mm-hmm.
and what have you. And so from Kurt Carr, I went from Kurt Carr. I played for him for like 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went from him to Donnie McClurkin. It's
Right.
interesting too because when I was 17, 16, 17, we was at my grandfather's church, and my uncle brought Donnie McClurkin in. At that time, Donnie was really, really like known for doing the living. He loved me medley, the church
Yeah.
medley that he was doing,
Yeah. All
and
that. Yeah.
so he did it one time at the Azusa with Carlton Pearson back then.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I think him and my uncle Matthew got tight. And so one night we had a revival or something going on at our church, and see my cousin calling me. And hold on one second, Ben. I'm on Facebook Live.
Oh, all right.
Get on it. I just sent you
Tell
the
them to
link.
tune in. Tell them to
Tune
tune
in
in and
and,
share.
and share it.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, Ben is one of my older cousins, and he plays as well. So but anyway, we was doing a service one night, and my uncle
Mm-hmm.
Matthew brought Donnie McClurkin in, and of course they had him sing, and so we ended up doing the medley, and he was pretty much blown away. And so after after I worked with Kurt Carr, I got a call from Donnie McClurkin management team, and Donnie was in town for doing something with at the time, what's the man's name? Clarence McClendon,
Okay.
Church of the Harvest,
Right.
and he wanted us to do it. It was in the city. We ended up playing for him, and then a couple months later, he called us to go on the road with him, and that's how we started.
Wow.
And so we toured his record, "Have a Little Talk with Jesus,"
Yeah.
and then the record after that was, I believe it was the "We Fall Down" record.
Right.
We toured that, and so from 98 to 2002, I was the MD for Donnie McClurkin.
Yeah.
And so between Kurt Carr and Donnie McClurkin, I was doing other work,
Right. Right.
playing on records and what have you. And then after I toured with Donnie, I teamed up with Kevin Bond, and he asked me to come in and play on records with him. My first record I did with him was the Wing of the Prayer record. What's my man's name? T.D. Jakes.
DDJs. Yeah.
The Wing of the Prayer record. And then after that, we did the Marvin Sapp record,
Mm-hmm.
Diary of a Psalmist. So and
Yeah.
then from those records, uh, Kevin pushed me and the other guys to get into production, and that's how
Right.
I got into production after
Right.
working with Kevin.
Yeah.
And so me and Kevin, we stay connected even to this
Yeah.
day. That's
Right.
the big dog. That's the big
Yeah.
dog. He
I
checks in on
mean,
me.
that's
You know.
that's huge to have. Which even before that, like you worked at your
Yeah.
craft already
Mhm.
before that, and
Mhm.
then to be meet somebody like Kevin, and he
Yeah.
see that not just potential, but that that
Yeah.
potential in you, and he say, "Hey, I'm a sow into him,"
Yeah.
and then take you on this wing to
Yeah.
like that. That's huge.
Yeah. Well,
I
when he and I met, it was in I believe it was '97. I met him in Charlotte, North Carolina, on a tour with I was touring with Kurt Carr, and he had it was AIM convention, as a matter of fact.
Right,
And that's when I met him. I said, "Hey man, nice to meet you, man. You know, enjoy your music. You know, of course I'm a fan."
right,
And I said, "Oh, one day we work together." He said, "Well, in time." And then the time came, and I took advantage of that time.
right. Yeah,
You know
no,
what I
I
mean?
mean you got to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's just great. It's just the roadblocks to where I come from, church,
right.
um, the jurisdictional church, and then to
Hmm.
be a professional musician, and then to do production. And so
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I just in case some the people that's watching they don't know, I just kind of took some notes on like you was going kind of through your discography, and I like I said I didn't know that I've been listening to you for as long as I have
Wow.
cuz I'm younger and like I'm 32. How old are
Uh,
you?
I'm 43.
All right, so yeah, 10 years. Yeah, so I started high school in '03,
Yeah.
and so which I was already playing before then, but high school, that's like, so me and a couple of my friends, um, they would have church on. We had a Friday night live service at Word Alive,
Uh huh.
and that and all of us, so we would be listening to these songs, but even before then, not knowing, that it was you on a lot of this stuff, like you said, the Marvin Sapp, the Dorinda, yeah, Dorinda, and '02.
Uh huh.
You said you played a couple on Tornadoes Out the Box, Bishop Morton, of course Donnie, Marvin Sapp, No 3, Smokey,
Uh huh.
Smokey Norfield, Soul Seekers,
Mhm.
came back again '05 with Dorinda's Rose of Gospel.
Mhm.
I ain't know this was you on Heather Hadley.
Yeah. I forget the. It was a. I did a track on there. Yeah. Mhm.
I was like, man, Beverly Crawford,
Yeah.
'07, and Mary, Ernest Pugh.
Uh huh.
You did a gospel tribute for Obama.
Yeah.
Uh, some more Beverly Crawford, Lowell Pie.
Yeah.
Um, so then we in.
Most of that stuff, they were work for hire. Things for like different producers and what
Right.
have you. Call me in. You know.
Yeah. So man, that's crazy. So that leads me to my next question. So in working with those earlier artists before, like you say, you're touring, or even you're on a lot of the live recordings.
Mhm.
So all this music that myself and all other musicians are learning, we're learning your stuff on the live recording.
Mhm.
So that, as far as, are you getting producer or credit for that, or was that work, or and it's a touring versus, like you said, the later stuff is work for hire, or like how does that
Well,
balance out?
in a discography, they should label it. Some work like with the Heather Hadley and the stuff that you mentioned. I
Hmm.
forgot I did all that stuff because a lot of work that I do is production work now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And most people, they want me to do musician like they want me to record a piano track or record rolls or whatever.
Right,
So
right.
work for hire stuff. Yeah, I signed up for that stuff, especially like when you do like union sessions. You do
Hmm.
union sessions, that's you get the credit and all of that. And so I just go, on to the next. You know what I mean?
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean? But the stuff that you guys learn, it depends. Like, you know, what's that song that I did with ASAP Ward? Is it So Many Times? No. Yeah, well, that was the record. That was a record.
Okay, there's the record. All
Like,
right.
I was a musician on that record. I wasn't a producer on that record.
Okay.
I'm thinking of Everything That the Devil Stole.
Yeah.
Same thing. I was a musician on that record.
Okay.
So, you know, but like a lot of my production work, Beverly Crawford, I did what 3 records on her. I did
Mm-hmm.
the L.A. Live Volume 1, L.A. Live Volume 2, and
Yeah.
then she did one in Dallas called it was the
Okay.
Sweeping Through the City record.
And
I did
what about Judith
Judith
McAllister?
McAllister.
Yeah.
I did 2 records on her, In His Presence and Sound of Trumpet. The
Okay.
other two prior to that, I was just a musician on that record.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
So as far as like, again, like I said, I'm just trying to help everybody out. So with being just a quote unquote just a musician or work for hire, that's that one
Mm-hmm.
time money you get.
Right,
Before
right.
that, it runs out. Versus when you're with the artist from inception and producing the record and doing it, um, even if you don't play it on the live recording or whatever, but you produced it and wrote it and arranged it, that's different.
As a producer, a producer's sole responsibility is to put the record together.
Hmm.
Period. However you put the record, I know producers that don't play. They bring
Hmm.
people in to play to put together. Uh, but the responsibility is so much greater. And so, a lot of times when we get into production from the creation side of it.
Hmm.
Creating
Right.
beats, making tracks,
Hmm.
and submit them to certain artists, for records and what have you.
Right.
And so that I like that process. The process is cool. I've done it that way recently,
Hmm.
but a lot of times I'm a producer.
Yo, Mike, I think we lost him real quick. Looks like his computer might have died on us. Hey, well, if y'all are just joining us, we are live question and answer with Mike Bereal, West Coast style. Well, I'm on the East Coast. I'm over here in Georgia. So yeah, man, listen, y'all type y'all's questions in. Please share, like, and comment. Um, guess he'll be joining us back here in a minute. I think he got. Yep, he's back in here. So hold on one second. Let me bring him back.
Satan, you a lie. Get off my computer. Co- Computer just Google Chrome just closed. Ain't that a mess?
Oh man.
Google Chrome just closed. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, um,
All right.
I'm back, y'all.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me? All right, cool.
Yeah, we good. We
All
good.
right, so
Ki-
what were we talking about?
Man, that threw me out.
Well, we was talking about production, right?
Oh yeah, the production.
So
You said sometimes you do it the where you actually the creation process, and then the
yeah,
other where you bring in the people.
you do it. And sometimes in if I could say it this way, in the secular world, you know, you do the track, you produce the music, and whatever. You write the music, you get writers, or you write the song and you submit it. Once they submit it and they accept the song, that's when you work out all of the logistics, the paperwork, the points, the royalty, the credits, the who wrote this, the split sheets, all of that. You know what I mean? Um, I think a gospel is a little different. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because we're doing a lot of live records. You're doing like 10 song records, and most of the stuff is live. So you work on the paperwork beforehand before you
Right.
before you do all of that.
Right.
The all the terms are still the same. You know what I mean? The points, the split sheets, and all of that is still the same, but you have a greater responsibility because you're doing multiple songs versus working on one track. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? You
Right.
know, so the responsibility is greater. So
Right. Right. And I found myself, of course, like I said, I was playing it, and I got into production when I was about, yeah, when I was in high school. I had this guy show because I was tracking on the motif. I had the
uh huh.
ES, of course, we go into tracking there, but then he was like, "Man, now you can do all this on the computer and move your tracks around." And he showed me Sonar,
Uh huh.
and I mean, I was. You couldn't tell me there wasn't no greater invention, to be because when you tracking on the keyboard, you got to do it one take. Ain't no trying to fix it and doing all that stuff like you got to, which made me a better musician
Uh-huh.
as far as playing, but still just to have that ability, if I want to stack or do something. And so then fast forward, I love that process. I call it the Quincy process of,
Uh-huh.
Quincy don't have to touch a key, a mixing board, or nothing. But
Right.
he brings, the full package together.
Yeah.
And to me, I personally love that process to where I can get with an artist and interpret what that artist, wants and
Mm-hmm.
needs, and then I say, okay, I'm gonna need
Yeah.
Mike on keys, I need Eddie on bass, I need Eddie on organ, I need Warren on bass, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, like
Yeah.
do it that, and then and I don't have to touch a thing,
Right.
you
Right. Right.
know.
Right. 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 Right.
But it still is good to have that being able to play if I
Uh-huh.
needed to,
Right.
so. But what do you prefer? You prefer playing or prefer producing or?
I'm a always prefer playing. I enjoy playing music. The, it gives me a joy. Let me say it this way, it gives me a joy knowing that other people enjoy what I do.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So when I'm playing, yes, I enjoy myself playing, but it's nothing like seeing the reaction of people and how much they enjoy what you're doing. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
And
Oh
so
yeah.
and so
Oh,
it's
it's that
that's a
energy on stage, man. Like,
yeah.
and that energy, cause I DJ too, like not gospel, some
It's all good,
like
man.
dance music, which I
Yeah.
might bring up a question, but that doing that dance music like in
Uh huh.
festivals and stuff,
Yeah.
that what you're saying, that energy
Mhm.
from what you're
Yeah.
playing and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Which this question that came up, yeah, they asked, do you do any other music besides gospel music?
Yeah.
And what is your
I have.
what's your take and what's your limit? Like,
Well,
what's the
I
balance in that?
because I'm mainly a gospel musician, gospel producer. That's what I do. But yes, I have done other music. I've done other R&B songs. I produced an R&B song. As a matter of fact, I did it with my cousin. We did it. Wrote it. We wrote it with Tank, and then we put it on Dave Hollister's records called "Please Tonight."
Oh
It's
man.
called "Please Tonight." So we. So yeah, I've done. I played on secular records.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it,
Have you
it
had
doesn't
much
bother me.
pushback from the
Mm-mm,
church or other
mm-mm,
people
mm-mm,
from doing it? Because I know a lot
mm-mm,
of us, man, we get,
mm-mm.
and I
Because
know a lot of that is like religious
I look at it like this, right? I look at it like this. Do it. If that's what you do, good. Do it. You know what I
mhm.
mean? I think what happens is a lot of us, we kind of get careless in how we are as a person
Right.
because it's such freedom
Mhm.
when you're doing secular music. Ain't nobody over your shoulder telling you, hey, you need to live right with God and get
Right.
right. You got to live holy and
Right.
this and that. You
Right.
know what I mean? I'm not saying that that's the reason, but what I'm saying, that's I think we get carried away in doing that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? We get carried away and we do secular music. You know what I mean? Now, granted. Now I'll tell I'm gonna keep it real with y'all.
Yeah.
I've been on gospel sets where
Man.
jokers had the bottle. They had the
Yeah.
bottle. They had the
Yeah.
the
The
rap. They
tree,
had
the
they had the
trees, yeah,
tree. I mean,
everything.
it's I'm
They
just
go
saying.
and go on stage high and
Yeah.
drunk, but
So
sound good.
yeah. So what I do
But yeah.
that's a topic for another day. But what
Yeah.
I do is I stay true to the music.
Right.
I'm true to the music. All that other stuff, you know what I mean.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't fool with it. You
Right.
know what I
I
mean.
used to have this conversation with my grandmother, God bless her, which she didn't necessarily not like me, playing secular, but she understood what all that came in with, and I just used to tell her, I said, Granny, I'm I'm solid in who I am in
Mm-hmm.
Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, music is not just a, a hobby for me. It's
Mm-hmm.
like it's what he created me to do. Just like he created, people to be like doctors and lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
welders, whatever. That's quote unquote secular jobs,
Yeah.
and they're blessed and anointed to do it. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, just because they're performing a surgery in a secular world, don't make them a heathen. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, it shouldn't be no different than me still keeping my salvation playing. Now, there is that caveat depending on what the song is about, what the song is,
Mm-hmm.
doing. If the song is, like saying, I hate you, God, or curse
Yeah.
God,
No, we ain't doing that. No.
then I
No.
ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be
We
like,
ain't
well,
doing.
I'm still saved,
Nah,
but
we
they
ain't doing
paying me,
that. Nah.
but it's
Nah,
still
we ain't
use
doing that.
discretion.
We're not doing
But
that. Yeah. Every.
every secular song, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I can't do that because y'all ain't saying Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, I just use discretion. You know, I just use discretion. Make sure my judgment calls are cool. You know
Right,
what I mean? Because I don't do everything.
right.
And my grandfather prophesied to me a long time ago, and he said, if I stick with the Lord in the music, He'll bless me.
Mm,
And that's true. I haven't had a hiccup yet,
right.
and so
Amen.
I have had every opportunity to play with secular artists, go on tour with the top ones.
Hmm.
Got laughed at because I didn't go to the auditions. Got
Right.
laughed at and this and that. Same people that laughed at me called me talking about, hey man, I'm ready to work 20 years later.
Hey man, Lord would never fail you, man.
And
Lord will
he
never
won't.
fail
He
you.
hasn't failed. He never failed me. He hasn't failed me yet. So,
Amen.
but
All
yes.
right, I'm gonna move on real quick. I know I'm trying to keep your time, man. We could talk all night. What's your
Yeah.
creative process when tracking?
Varies. It varies. Depends on the song. Depends on the vibe. A lot of times for me, um, you know, most times it's rhythm.
Hmm.
It's a rhythm concept first. It's a rhythm concept because my deal is I don't want to be the gospel producer that I don't want everything to have that same start, that same, because we all writing and
Yeah.
producing the same vibe. The
Right.
Tom Fields,
Yeah.
toe tappers, the praise
Yeah.
breaks. I mean, I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So
You
I
don't want
just
the song to come on and be like, oh, that's
yeah.
Mike.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't. I work hard to try to create a different feel for what's already being out. You get what I'm saying? If that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
But what
So
what but isn't there something to be said about being different but also creating a signature
yeah, I mean,
sound? Like,
there was a post this morning on my cousin's page. I don't know if he's watching now. My cousin Bennett.
mhm.
He said when he was younger, right? He didn't ask a whole bunch of questions from the OGs. He just he saw 'em, he quietly went home and practiced, picked it out, and what have you. You know what I mean? So and then I saw a comment. He says, you know, from today's musicians, younger musicians, we do a lot of they want a lot of breakdowns. You know what I mean? And so what happens is, it's a lot of cloning going on. So, but to get to yourself and create and get your own thing, that's just talking about playing. But
Right.
it happens in production as well.
Right.
You finding your niche.
Hmm.
We sit behind some greats in production and our musicianship, but there's nothing like you know getting in the woodshed yourself
Yeah.
and finding that niche. Even with creating your own sounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Creating your own sounds instead of getting sounds from somebody else. You got to create your own sounds.
Got
And
to.
so you're
Yeah,
right.
man.
You having your own identity.
Right.
With that. You know what I mean? So
So
that's what I
does
try to work on in my process.
right. Speaking of that with the sound, it's like this whole um, cause I know I was hearing Kevin Bond every time, not Vaughn, Kevin Bond every time I heard that the Kurzweil,
Uh huh.
and it's just like and then of course with you and Jason and so well who used I don't know if that's debate who used the Roland first,
The MKS or the
FKS,
RD. Uh,
or is that quote unquote a West Coast
it's not a.
thing,
it's
or
not a
is that
West Coast thing. We adopted it. We adopted it, but it's not a West Coast thing. I think the first person we can give credit to.
hmm
Uh, I'm going out on a limb. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, y'all correct me. But the person we give credit to is Thomas Whitfield, because he used that piano on "And They Sing a Hymn,"
Okay, yeah.
and that I heard. That's where I first heard that sound in
hmm
gospel music.
Right.
And so, of course, hearing Kevin execute music with that, uh, it
I
just made
mean,
it. It just took it to a whole nother, took
right.
it to a whole nother another phase. And
Yeah.
so, but I've used that sound. Jason have used that sound. A lot of people have used that sound.
hmm
Um, uh, before I even used it, before I even heard, even
Yeah.
before I heard Kevin Bond use it, uh, Ben Tankard used it
Oh, okay. See.
on his record Keynote Speaker. That was what,
Yeah.
80s, late 80s. Was it late 80s? Late 80s, early late like about like late 80s.
Probably early 90s.
Ben
Yeah.
Tankard used it.
Let me
Yeah.
see. I was born in '88, so
Yeah, I
no,
was I was a I was a young lad. Let's see.
and that's the
Forget when that record
thing
came out.
where, like I said, a lot of this, a lot of these younger musicians, talented, yeah, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
know the history
Right.
of, the sounds,
Yeah.
chord progressions,
Mm-hmm.
things, which, of course, like I said, like this would be another topic, but a lot of stuff, from jazz musicians and,
Mm-hmm.
especially now, you listen to Corey Henry and
Mm-hmm.
I was having this debate with somebody the other day. It was like, is he a gospel musician or a jazz musician? And my answer
Only he
was
could tell you that.
right. Well, my answer was if you have to ask that question,
Yeah.
that makes him just
Well,
a great musician because he's able to
yeah. I just
adapt in
think
whatever environment he's in.
yeah. And I also think that those kind of questions are kind of irrelevant. I think we're asking questions just to ask them. You know
True.
what I mean?
True.
And so my thing is Corey is a great musician. He's great at what he does. He could play gospel. He could play jazz. He could play it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His roots is church.
Right.
That's all we need to. It don't matter. His roots is church, but what he's doing, he's good. He's great at what he's doing.
Dude,
So
I
I
love
I,
it.
would-
I
I
applaud
would
it.
never I would never ask another man a person if a person is a gospel musician or jazz musician. That's up to him to let the world know.
Right. Right. And that's how I feel about being about some certain artists when
Hmm.
they're trying to find their identity,
Yeah.
coming out and doing stuff. Of course, if they say themselves, I'm a gospel artist, yeah. But then saying that gives them so much, if they want to sing about, like if I'm a man, I want to write a song about my wife, a love
Hmm.
song.
Hmm.
Oh, now he's singing R&B. I'm saying it's a song about my wife. Like
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, well, I thought you was a gospel artist, or vice versa. If you come out of secular, then if you try to sing a gospel song, now nah, you can't sing no gospel song. You was,
Yeah.
And so yeah, I know I definitely agree with you, man. And yeah, man, just get to hear your point of view from that. Just
Hmm.
if his heart is good, people's heart is good, don't matter. It's just
Yeah.
how they live their life. What
Exactly.
it's not their gospel musician or secular musician. They're musician, period.
Yeah.
And that whether they're a good person or a bad person, that's on how they live.
Yeah. That's on them. That's
Yeah,
that's on
man.
them. You know what I mean? So. But yeah, man.
So, one last question I ask, and then if you don't mind, if you could play us something out, give us some inspiration. Is just what's your So what's been your favorite song that you've either played or produced, or or concert, or just if you had one experience that you've had, like playing a song or producing a song?
Uh, that's pretty. I mean, my favorite stuff I produced was my brother's music. Um, I mean, I bet that's the best stuff that you know the freedom that I had to be who I want to be with that record
Hmm.
was and yes, we are in slow progress of doing another record. So,
Yeah.
but I would say his stuff. But next to him, uh, I would say I've done a lot of work with Ernest Pugh. Ernest Pugh has allowed me to be who I am as a producer, and as well as bringing out the best in him as an artist.
All right.
You know what I mean? I'm currently working with Zebulon Ellis at the moment
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
couple of tunes, and he's allowed me to be who I am as well.
Hmm.
And what have you. His stuff is coming out great. His stuff is
Right.
coming out great, and so I can't wait for you guys to hear what we're doing.
Right.
And I got a lot of other records that's get ready to come forth, that I'm enjoy doing, that I really enjoy doing.
Right.
But my favorite, I would say, my brother stuff.
Cool. Yeah,
Those are my
man.
brother stuff.
Yeah, man, dude. Well, man, listen, I appreciate you, man. If you can just tell the people something, encourage us in this time. Like I said, a lot of us musicians are out of work at the moment. As
Yeah.
far as, something that can encourage us to keep going, keep pushing, and still stay creative. And like you told me earlier, like you said, you feel like in this season, it's our time as far as musicians and entrepreneurs and
Yeah.
doing other things. So just a word of encouragement. Then, if you want to play something for us.
A lot of things in life. Like I was in Walmart this morning, and I was going to see if they had like weights and stuff, like to lift weights and stuff.
Hmm.
And almost every store that I've been to, including Walmart, was empty,
They out.
out with all the stuff. At the beginning of it, it was toilet tissue. Now it's weights. Ain't that crazy? But
We ain't forget
yeah,
Facebook. Y'all was
yeah.
tripping about that toilet
It's the
paper.
toilet, the toilet tissue, boy. I mean, when I first bought my first roll since COVID, I put it on social media. I said, God is in the blessing business here, because I need my rolls.
You got to put them rolls in the safe.
Right. But now I saying that to say, because of where the economy is, and the things that we have taken for granted. Now we're looking for them. You get what I'm saying? We're looking for them, and now is the time where we can really dig in and do what God has put in our hearts to do as entrepreneurs, as producers, as songwriters, as book writers.
Right.
You know, whatever your desire is, your heart is, your dream is. Now is the time to go forward. And if you are a believer in Christ, um, all the resources that you get, tithe, tithe, because that's the only way God is going to keep the devour the enemy away from you. You gotta tithe. You know what I mean? The Bible says, "Bring the tithe to a storehouse," and He said, "Prove me now herewith. See, will I not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing you don't have room enough to receive, and I will rebuke the devourer." And so if you're a believer, tithe your money. Give that 10% to the ministry, and watch God open doors. And why you'll be able to lend money. You'll be able to lend money in this time
Mm.
and not borrow. And I'm a
Amen.
believer of that.
Yeah.
I'm a
He said, "I'll
believer
make
of
you the
that.
lender, not the borrower."
You hear me? But you gotta do what he said. You gotta do what the
Right.
Bible requires, what the Word of God requires. And
Right.
so in this season, you can make it. You can survive. You know what I mean? You can make it. You can do it. Whatever your dreams is, do it. Do it. Get on it. Get on it now. You know what I mean? Get on it now.
Right.
Don't sit down just because the world is shut down. Do it now. You can do it. You can do it.
Amen.
Let me play you this song. It's a hymn. I'm gonna play it on my Nord.
Yes,
I
sir.
I see Nord.
Yes, sir. I see
And
Nord too.
another shameless plug. You see the Merino Customs hat?
Yeah, man. I see Noah. All
Yeah,
y'all
man.
motif and rollingers out there. See
Well, this is
that.
this is the discussion that we can have for another day. I would love to get on again and talk about this. I still have my motif ES8. I
Yeah.
still use it for sounds and everything, but the piano don't cut the mustard. I saw somebody's post the other day, and it said full grand piano is trash, and then
Man,
everybody, what's very interesting?
it's not trash. It's just it's two
Well,
decades. We've
yeah,
been
I know,
hearing
but
it for
but
20
check this out.
years.
Check this out. Right? People people say things in comment sections just to try to see what the response is gonna be. I know I
Yeah.
see y'all. Somebody said, nor don't cut it for me either. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that's fine, good for you. Okay, what works for you? Tell me what works for you instead of saying what don't work for you. Tell me
Right,
what works for you.
right,
You know what I mean?
right, right.
So I've used as a matter of fact, Cassandra O'Neal helped me get this board. She
Oh
helped me get
yeah,
the
and
ES8.
she. Oh
You
my
know,
God.
and so I got the motif rack. I got all that stuff. I got it all the stuff. But I happen to love my Nord, and
Me, and it cut.
that don't cut to you. That don't
Y'all,
cut.
I know they here. We gonna have some haters say that,
That don't cut. Come on, y'all. Come on now. But
man.
no. What I want to say though is, it's not the sound. It's the fingers.
Oh,
It's the touch.
all day long.
All day long. Like prime example, we talked about the PC88, the Kurzweil with
Mm-hmm.
Kevin used a Kurzweil. I don't like the Kurzweil. Kevin loves a Kurzweil. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean we're enemies. He happens to love it.
Right.
I don't. Would I play it if it's there? Yes, I will, and I'll make it sound good.
Right. Oh, it's all
So
about
it's not the mechanism. It's the person. It's the operator.
it. Right. And I
So
think
so
a lot of those comments come from, because my mom put me in actual piano lessons, and
uh huh
I've always been in like I consider myself a piano player,
uh huh
and so when versus a keyboard player.
uh huh.
So I think that's the difference. What it is for me, because I started even before the Nord, I got the Ravenscroft
Right. I
because
want
it's
that
like,
too.
yeah,
I want that too. Ravenscroft,
it's
hearing that is really nice.
oh yeah, it's my dude Matthew Pittman.
Uh
You know
huh.
him?
I heard of that name.
He played for he was MD for Gladys.
Okay.
For a long
Okay.
time, met him out in Vegas, and he the
Okay.
one told me about it. So it's actually they have a live grand that they sampled it from, and it
Oh,
made
okay.
titanium strings and everything.
Wow.
He put it, but it's that same what you saying. It's an actual piano, and I think those
Okay.
people that love the full grand, they've got used to that Yamaha that keyboard piano sound. Not really
Yeah.
knowing that that's not a piano sound. That's a
No,
keyboard.
it's a keyboard.
It
Right.
ain't
Right. Right.
a
Right. Right.
right. And so but like I said, yeah, haters
You
gonna
know,
hate.
when I was coming up, the Roland D70 piano was dope,
Right.
and that thing was bright as all get out.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's just when the Korg M1 came out, we was using the Korg M1. We thought that was sweet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
as we evolve with
Right.
our sounds and whatnot,
Yeah.
it's all preference. But
The one piano I absolutely just cannot stand though is that the chord piano.
on what board though?
No, on the Triton
The
piano.
Triton.
The I Need You Now piano. Oh
Oh
my
wow.
God. I don't know, man. I just loathe that sound for some reason. I'll take
Again,
anything
man.
else.
Again.
Just that one Triton piano, man. I'm like, no.
And people, are they still using Triton?
I don't. They shouldn't be. Not for mains.
Not for main. A lot of people using the Chronos though. I see
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
got
people-
a Chrono. Yeah,
You like the Chronos?
yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
got.
That's
I
not a
haven't-
Triton.
I haven't dug in the Korg stuff lately. I haven't. But But again, man, it's preference. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Cool, you know. But I think we got to get out of that habit of saying what don't work and what sucks. Say what does work. Say what does
Right.
work. You
Right.
know, this is what I use. You know what I mean? It does.
Right.
This is why I use it. You know what I mean?
Right.
As opposed to being negative all the time.
Right.
But
Yeah,
you know,
man. Well,
that ain't a rant. That ain't a rant. That's just the truth.
y'all finna hear firsthand what the Nord can do. Switzerland?
They're from Stockholm, Sweden.
Sweden.
Yeah, Stockholm,
Yeah.
Sweden.
Yeah. So
Um, the interesting thing about them is that they they came to me that year when I did it at at NAM, and so
Mhm.
I just think it's a blessing. I've always loved Nord
Yeah.
since their first keyboard. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
listen, guys, only what you do for Christ will last. I messed up. I messed up. Sorry.
If you ain't saying nothing, I wouldn't know.
I was rigging up bad.
That's what my boys always tell me, man. Chris and Stokes, and they say, "Hey,
Yeah.
man, if you mess up,
Hey, keep
don't
going.
tell nobody. Just keep
Gotta
going."
keep going. I love it though, man,
Yeah,
because
man.
it just lets me know that and even in the mistakes, you can still keep going. That's a message.
That's a real good
That's a
message.
message.
That's a
So,
real good message. Yo, Mike, man, listen, I can't say thank you enough, my man. Thank you for your time. I know you're busy.
thank you,
You've been
man. No
tracking.
problem. Glad to
Uh,
be here. Glad to be here.
yeah, thank you for supporting, man.
Yes,
Supporting the
sir.
movement, not just the brand, the movement. Musician lives matter. We
Yes.
telling the stories, man. We just trying to encourage everybody, man, and just thank you for always being humble.
Yes,
And
sir. Yes,
as
sir.
soon as I reached out, man, you just you reached back out and wasn't like real, cause I done met some snobby man, some snobby people, man, musicians higher up, and I'm just like you ain't got to be like that, man.
I
Just
mean, think about it, man. After 2 hours of the day of you being on stage, who are you after that or before that? You
a
know,
human being, just
who
like
are you?
rest
We
of
we
us.
all we all got the same struggle. We all got the same struggle. So
Man.
musician
So
lives matter, baby.
yes, sir, man. I appreciate you, man, sharing your story, your time. Yeah, we'll get you back on here, man. We'll have some different topics of discussions.
Yes, sir.
Like you said, some of these things that these people put in these comment sections, and and also some more real stuff, about this whole the
Hey,
COVID.
right. Somebody said take them to church. Put me in F.
Oh God, that's funny. Yeah, that's Thomas, man. He one of the guys we grew up with, man. Listening to your
Okay.
stuff, playing them Friday night services,
Yeah.
trying to learn these. So that church, they would just start singing stuff, man. A lot of it was, like I said, a lot of Clark sister stuff.
hmm
A lot of Beverly Crawford stuff, and it just we got to know it.
Yeah.
So
You
like I
gotta know
said,
it.
you've been even
Learning
though
in the
this is our
trenches.
right. So this been our first time actually meeting, but you've
Yeah.
been my mentor for a long
Oh
time,
man, that's what's up, bro.
having to learn these, at these conferences and these stuff. You got to know it.
Yeah. Most
Um,
definitely. Most definitely.
but yeah, man, I appreciate your time, man, and yeah, y'all share this. I'll put this. I'm gonna try to put this on my podcast after I edit it too, so
Okay.
people can hear. And then yeah, man, we'll do it again soon.
Absolutely, man. Love to come back and share.
Yeah,
You
man.
know. Love
So
everybody. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, bro.
yeah, dude. Thank you.
All
Peace, my
right.
brother.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all seen it here first, live and uncut. Mike Bereal, musician lives matter. Um, Man, I only had him for an hour, man. Like we could just keep going and going, man. But he carved out this time for me, man, for us to talk about some things, talk about his history. He's definitely gonna be back. He will, but I got some other special guests that's gonna be coming. I'm trying to do this every week, every Thursday at 8 o'clock. So y'all share, y'all follow Musician Lives Matter everywhere on all social media. Right here on Facebook, we're on Twitch, we are on Instagram, we are on YouTube. So I will be uploading certain clips from tonight's episode on those other platforms. And yeah, y'all start telling me who y'all want to hear from, who y'all want to see, um, who y'all look up to, who y'all want to encourage you, who you want to learn from, and I'll be, reaching out to them, man, and seeing, we can get them on here, get them to play something for you. Artists too, if there's an artist you want to hear from, and that they can sing, and yeah, we just keep it going. Hey, musician lives matter. Listen, y'all go hug a musician. Tell him you love him. Tell her you love him. Um, check on him, man. You don't, a lot of we can't go nowhere. We stuck in the house. I'm a tech nerd, so I still got my stuff with me. But a lot of us don't. They don't have a lot of stuff. They lived off of just, being able to go to church or going on the road. So, find a musician, encourage them, love on them, tell them you're proud of them, encourage them, and keep going, man. So if y'all like to donate to the cause, um, Venmo at at Nigel Maestro, and also our PayPal is Nigel Maestro at gmail.com. If you like to sow a seed into the ministry. So yeah, thank y'all again. Musician Lives Matter. This was live with Mike Bereal. And till next time, I'll see y'all next week. Peace.